To those of you in the Liberty Movement, thank you for joining me. I really want to talk about our everyday conversations as we move into the holiday season, and in fact, we move into an election season. A lot of people are going to be talking about the fundamental problems in the United States. Americans were so desperate for change 2 years ago, they literally gave a blank check to a man who just simply told them he was going to change things, not knowing exactly what he was going to do. And this year they're giving change to people who tell them that they're going to reduce the deficit. They're going to stop doing the things that are destroying this country. Yet, a lot of these people, especially those that are in charge on the conservative side, they're part of the problem. They're part of the group that put us into this mess. They're progressive, they're Keynesian, whether they're Republican or Democrat, it really doesn't matter. The fact is they both subscribe to an ideology that government is going to fix the problem, that government is the answer. When you look at debates right now in the political season, you hear people talking about welfare, about different entitlements like tuition and housing and Social Security and Medicare. And if you notice, whether it's Republican or Democrat, the debate is progressive in nature. It is Keynesian in nature, because they're using the word reform. They want to reform welfare. They want to reform tuition. They want to reform Social Security. Well, if the liberty movement is a liberty movement, we should be talking about not reforming things, but restoring things. We should talk about getting government out of our lives. You know, the United States. If you look at the United States, when we thrived, our strongest years of growth and innovation, it came, the less regulations, the less government intervention, the less subsidies that just simply took money from one group and gave to another, borrowed from future demand, or created demand where it wouldn't have naturally been. If you look at our most successful years, it was based basically on the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. And now we have thousands of pages of regulations every day. In fact, I recently saw a report that just this year, just for 2010 year to date, we already have 70,000 pages of new regulations. You know, I often think it's so funny when people talk about an unregulated market, or they say, oh, the stock market was unregulated in 2000 to 2008. They talk about California's electricity being deregulated. I'm sorry, but the government's idea of deregulating something is having 1,000 rules. And calling it deregulated. Their idea of a free market is having, thousands of regulations and rules, and then calling it a free market, or subsidizing one group. If you look at just the housing market, for instance, Americans love their mortgage tax deduction. The mortgage tax deduction is bank welfare. If you think about it, people are willing to take a little bit higher of an interest rate. They're willing to make a little bit more of a payment. Because why? They're going to get money back from the government, so they always consider and factor that deduction in. That deduction is banker welfare as far as I'm concerned. And not only do I believe we should get rid of all these deductions, I think we should get rid of the income tax, because we need to starve the federal government. I'm fine that there's going to be taxes involved in maintaining a nation, but we need to starve our federal government. Our federal government should be in charge of basically people not killing themselves, people not killing each other, and defending the borders, defending the nation. But as far as looking to the government to centralize the answers for everyone, whether you're in Maine or California, centralized government has an answer for all of us across the board. That to me is an abomination to everything those men died for over 200 years ago. They were trying to get England off their back, out of their life. They wanted free speech, free religion, freedom and ability to prosper without the government robbing you and stealing from you directly. Not only do they steal from us with an overburdensome tax policy and these foreign engagements and wars and the way they spend our money, but if you look at the way they inflate our money supply, often people will look at our deficit and say, well, it's our children that are going to have to pay back the money. You're right. The interest and a lot of the principles are going to be paid back by our children, but that money is being created today. It's in the system today. So by weakening our purchasing power of our currency, when we work and we get paid in this currency, they're already robbing you. You're already paying for it through the hidden tax of inflation. So my main point is, don't allow people to give you that typical debate between reforming something We need to start talking about abolishing things, getting rid of things, caging our government. You know, you can talk about government involvement, or you can talk about liberty. You can talk about people with having the right to work and to keep their money. And I'm not talking about lowering taxes. I'm talking about being able to keep their money. This is ridiculous that some of us are paying nearly 50% in taxes. That is wrong on the highest level. I don't even understand how people can call this a free nation when here I put my labor in a business, in educating myself and making the right investments, and here the government thinks it's their right to take my money and hand it to other people or hand it to foreigners that aren't even born in this country. I mean, it's one thing to take the money and give it to Americans, which I think is wrong. But I mean, when you're giving the money to Afghans or Iraqis, I can't tell you how disgusted I am by this government. But anyway, change the debate, get educated, and continue informing others about this channel and other alternative sites where you can get information and really find out what's going on with our government and the consequences of their actions. Thank you for joining me on the Victory Independence channel.